You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please.
Good afternoon. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the Empire State New Market Corporation for Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. I'd like to note for the record that this meeting is being webcast and I will be acting chair for today's meeting. Also note for the record that the public was given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting the written comments by 12:30 p.m. Tuesday, and state for the record that no comments were received from the public concerning today's agenda items. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I'd ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflicts of interest with respect to any of the items on the agenda. If so, I would ask you please to make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time, and we will make sure that you recuse yourself from discussion or vote with regard to such item. All right. Hearing none, the first item on today's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the June 24th, 2024 directors meeting. Are there questions, comments, additions, or deletions? If not, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. I now call upon John Evan Hornsby to present the next item on today's agenda, which is a request for authorization to form up to 5 additional subsidiary community development entities. John Evan.
Thank you, Kevin, and good morning, all. This is a request for authorization for Empire State New Market Corporation to form up to 5 additional subsidiary community development entities, execute the calendar year 2023 allocation agreement with the CDFI fund and an amendment thereto, and take related actions. On September 19th, 2024, ESNMC was awarded a calendar year 2023 allocation of federal New Markets tax credits in the amount of $50 million. With its $50 million allocation, ESNMC intends to enter into an allocation agreement with the CDFI fund and to close several NMTC transactions. Staff recommends that the directors authorize ESNMC to form the subsidiary CDEs and execute the allocation agreement and any future amendment thereto to add the subsidiary CDEs and any other additional subsidiary CDEs as parties. The directors are requested to authorize ESNMC to form the subsidiary CDEs, execute the allocation agreement and the allocation agreement amendment with the CDFI fund, and take related actions. Thank you.
Thanks, John Evan. Are there questions or comments from the directors?
No.
John Evan, just you're asking for approval for the creation of 5. Is that because we believe there are 5 projects likely to, or you just have, is that a number to be ready for up to 5?
It's just to be ready. We actually have 10 currently available, but because we've been successful in receiving awards recently, we just want to make sure that we have enough to close transactions effectively and efficiently going forward.
Great, thanks. Any other questions, comments from the directors? All right, as noted earlier, we do not have comments from the public, and I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. John Evan will now present the second and final item on today's agenda, which is a request for authorization to adopt the proposed general project plan as it relates to FoodLink Inc., the FoodLink Inc. project. John Evan.
Thanks, Kevin. Empire State New Market Corporation requests approval to allocate up to $9 million in federal New Markets tax credits for the purpose of enabling the subsidiary community development entity to make loans to two separate borrowers to finance the renovation of FoodLink's headquarters at its Mount Read site and the construction of a community education center at its Lexington site, both located in Rochester, and to delegate authority to the president of ESNMC and his designee to take any and all actions with respect to such allocation of NMTCs, the final terms of all transaction documents, and closing the transaction. FoodLink Inc., founded in 1978, is a nonprofit based in Rochester with a mission to fight hunger and poverty through its food bank, one of only 10 food banks in New York State, and its innovative programming related to food, nutrition, and workforce development. In 2023, the company distributed over 20 million pounds of food through a network of 400 partner organizations across 10 counties. In addition to being a regional food bank, FoodLink's approach to the fight against hunger includes many innovative programs. A curbside market, which includes delivery services as well as direct sales of affordable and fresh food, a culinary apprenticeship program, nutrition education, healthy meals for students, daycares, and other community-based programs, a community cafe that provides training opportunities for FoodLink's culinary apprentices, and pop-up food pantries. For the Mount Read project, ESNMC will provide up to $6.5 million in NMTC allocation to finance the renovation of FoodLink's approximately 17,600 square foot headquarters to expand refrigeration, dry storage, its curbside market, and its commercial kitchen, in addition to a roof replacement, enhanced safety measures, and energy-efficient windows. The project will allow FoodLink to expand its programming, meet increasing demand, and serve more low-income people and low-income community residents. For the Lexington project, ESNMC will provide up to $2.5 million in NMTC allocation to finance the construction of a 2,800 square foot community program space to be known as the Edible Education Center. The project will enable field trips to teach STEM and food studies, which include nutrition education, taste testing, and fostering healthy eating habits. Collectively, the projects will retain and create 148 permanent jobs. The proposed financing is recommended for multiple reasons. The investments are generally consistent with ESNMC's strategy proposed to the CDFI fund. ESNMC's strategy for the 2021 and 2022 allocations is to invest in transactions that create quality jobs by growing the manufacturing base, particularly in small, low-income communities, revitalize downtowns and small rural towns, and increase access to essential goods and services, especially in communities of color that have faced decades of underinvestment. The projects fit well with this strategy as they will increase food access to the low-income community in a food desert with a focus on serving low-income people in communities that are majority minorities, provide workforce development, apprenticeship, and nutritious food education to low-income people, and create and retain quality jobs. ESNMC also indicated in its business strategy that it would dedicate 20% of its 2022 NMTC award to make small loans, those of less than $4 million. The Lexington project fits well with this strategy as it will allow ESNMC to provide $2.5 million of NMTC allocation, fulfilling its small loan requirement. In addition to meeting the requirements of ESNMC's business strategy, the investments allow ESNMC to reach 80% deployment of its 2021 allocation and 51% deployment of its 2022 allocation. The project's community outcomes are compelling and consistent with ESNMC's NMTC application and community outcomes objectives. The projects are expected to retain 131 jobs and create 17 permanent full-time jobs. All full-time and permanent employees receive comprehensive benefits, including medical, dental, and vision insurance, retirement plans, profit sharing, paid time off, and disability. All employees and interns will receive on-the-job training as well as onboarding training. The projects will bring critically needed free and affordable food to low-income people and low-income community residents, as well as workforce training and community education. The projects have significant local, state, and federal support, including a $685,000 CFA grant from ESD, $350,000 from DASNY, $180,000 in American Rescue Plan Act funds from the City of Rochester, and $750,000 from HUD. The projects align strongly with New York State's goal of workforce development and providing critical services to low-income communities, as well as addressing food insecurity in food deserts. The projects were recommended by the ESNMC Project Review Committee and approved by the ESNMC Advisory Board last month. Thank you, and happy to take any questions.
Great. Thanks, Adam. Are there any questions or comments from the directors with regard to this item?
John Evan, just you mentioned the CFA grant and HUD funding. I'm just from the mechanics. Why isn't that in the sources and uses? Or am I missing it? Is it folded in?
Yeah, so those grants are takeout financing, so they're putting up the funds. So we just listed it as $2.3 million coming from FoodLink because the grants will be kind of.
Oh, okay. So that's the food link contribution is the collective of those. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks. Any other questions, comments?
John Evan, what's the timeline to complete these?
Yeah, so we're looking to close on the financing by the end of the year, and they hope to close the project probably in the first quarter of 2025.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. If no further questions, I would note for the record also there were no comments received from the public. If no further questions or comments, I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Thank you, John Evan. Thanks, team, for your work today and participation in today's meeting. There being no further business, I would entertain another motion for to adjourn this meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? So moved. This meeting is adjourned. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Take care of it.